It's now my pleasure to introduce this year's valedictorian speaker, Angus Lee.
Hello, everyone. Mr. Sheehy, Mr. Ragland, Father Mark, trustees, faculty, parents, families, friends, and above all, fellow students, thank you. I'm deeply humbled to have the opportunity to address you all today as a representative of our class. Thank you for making the Canterbury experience cherishable for me and for all of us, the class of 2016. Like Mr. Ragland, I'd especially like to acknowledge, on behalf of our class, our headmaster, Mr. Sheehy, who is now ending his final year here. He has rendered immeasurable services for the school, for us students, and for our class. The school has grown greatly under Mr. Sheehy's tenure. Canterbury now is a music program. Yay! But seriously, Mr. Sheehy, we are all deeply appreciative of what you have done at Canterbury. Now, as many of you may know, we've kept ourselves pretty busy at Canterbury. Many of us have, during our time here, served as captains, sacristans, student representatives, club presidents, proctors, lead ambassadors, and more, not to mention as role models. Now, those are all so-called leadership positions. But what is leadership? What did we do to earn it? I'll start with the most straightforward reason. Leaders work hard, and they earn respect for it. For myself, the hours I spent studying math several years ago are why I can teach my math classes now, and thanks to Mr. Roberts for letting me teach math class. Our finest athletes have spent untold hours on the fields, on the courts, in the rink, and in the weight room. The best artists in our class have spent years honing their skills in their free time. That brings me to my next point. It might seem cool to be lazy, but I'm sure a good number of my classmates would agree with me that laziness isn't cool. Success is cool. People admire success, and true success always requires hard work. Laziness isn't cool, and laziness definitely isn't leadership. There's another related quality I find, which is the willingness to challenge yourself and try new things. I hadn't played soccer coming into Canterbury. That was pretty awful, as Mr. Croto would probably acknowledge. Third soccer. But because I always hustled during practice and people saw my effort, by the end of the year I had a new nickname, Coach Angus. The next year, the players elected me co-captain. That's a story you hear all the time at Canterbury. Many of us on varsity teams didn't start playing our sport seriously until we came here, but we took the challenge and ran away with it. Yet the willingness to explore something unfamiliar goes far beyond sports. Many of us, including me, have gone on Canterbury's annual trip to Lourdes, or taken the Emmaus retreat. We did these things for personal growth, and I know the growth I had from those two experiences can make another speech entirely. But again, people respected us a lot for doing something completely unfamiliar. Taking on new challenges and taking worthy risks is leadership. Shying away from them or being foolishly reckless is not. That leads me to the last quality I want to talk about, which is independence. For me, math competitions have never been the hottest thing to do at Canterbury, much to my chagrin. But I did them anyway, and tried to share my interest with others. Now look where we are. I'm president of the math club. Yeah! And guess what? According to the yearbook, we're 19 strong, which makes us bigger than the cheese club. Take that, Denny. Similarly, as I mentioned before, Many of us have passions in musical and visual arts and in sports like soccer, crew, and wrestling. None of these is super popular, especially outside of Canterbury, but those activities form the paths of excellence that have guided many of us to some of the finest schools in the world. So do what you truly want for yourself, what you truly think is right, because independence is leadership. After all, how could following others be leadership? The world needs good leaders, and Canterbury can certainly do a good job in preparing us for the challenges of leadership. But also, remember what leadership is and what it isn't. Let's keep in mind Canterbury's 5 values: honesty, respect, compassion, self-reliance, and spirituality. As cliche as that might sound by now. Let's keep an open mind, but be ready to hunker down and work hard when difficult times come. Let's embrace challenge and try the countless, enriching, unfamiliar things the world has to offer. Let's dive in, head first. Class of 2016, let's go. Thank you.
Good job, Angus.